Well, this has been a video I've been meaning to make for a while now. Been kind of blowing it off, mostly because I hate talking or thinking about eBay. Despite, I think, making several videos now. eBay's just become such a trash site, and that's really all I can say. But this video is specifically about the Shop Safe Act and how, in my opinion, eBay misled and made a fool of sellers and Congress. And the premise of that statement is this highlighted bit here, which is eBay tried to use, I guess, these things as a way to convince people to fight the Shop Safe Act. So eBay implied that the Shop Safe Act would imply sellers to submit even more personal information to online marketplaces, including a government-issued ID, and it puts a number of new burdensome verification requirements on sellers, even individuals just selling some used personal goods. And those are the things I'm going to hit on the most because those are the points that are going to affect the majority of sellers on smaller level at least. I don't know if the bigger, like multi-hundred thousand feedback, whatever sellers care about these things, but it's something eBay, the only explanation I can come up with is eBay did it to mislead people. Because even before they started pushing this, let me think here, which one? This one. So this was the message I got back in March when eBay tried to ban me for selling too much stuff on their site. And you can either pause and read that through it yourself or just kind of explain a little bit. Um, but so they required front and back of driver's license or government issued ID. They wanted credit card statement, bank statement, or utility bill with billing address that matches the address registered to my eBay account. And they wanted me to prove where I was buying my inventory from and provide them with my customers' private information, which is unacceptable. And they wanted it, they said it had to be in an itemized PDF format, which is ridiculous because I'm not buying my stuff from Amazon. I'm buying my stuff from recycling clients. And I have an obligation to my recycling clients, whether it's in writing or not, that I protect their identity and I don't just go out willy-nilly saying, oh, well, yeah, I do recycling for this company and that company. It's no, I don't do that. That's not acceptable in my field of work. If if let's say I have a customer that genuinely wants references, I will specifically talk to the companies that I work with. I will say, hey, I need some references. Would you be willing for me to get some sort of like statement or something from you? And then I could show that to my other customer that, hey, this is one of my customers that I do recycling for and I've done business with, and this is their recommendation. But I don't just go, hey, I do recycling for company X, Y, and Z, because that's just that's bad business and it's bad OPSEC when it comes to protecting customer privacy, especially when it's stuff that's nobody's business. Like if eBay thinks that I've been selling stolen stuff on their site for the last 15 years, then they should just ban me. I'm not going to play these stupid ass games where, whoops, I'm trying not to swear. I get angry when I talk about this stuff. But I'm not going to play these stupid games where, oh, well, I'm going to prove that I own the stuff I'm selling. That's just ridiculous. Um, I also wanted my business information, articles of incorporation and whatnot, which it's like they want my personal information and my business information, even though I'm registered as a business account. It's like the whole thing's just stupid. Then the more recent one that I got was this one on my other eBay account where they wanted me to provide a photo ID to continue selling on the site. They haven't restricted the account yet. I have finally uploaded photo ID on the day that I made this video, which is the 16th of October, so 3 days before the deadline. Um, There really wasn't any reason. I was just wanted to make this video talking about it before I uploaded the information, just in case I wanted to take any other screenshots or whatever, but I've got everything I need. This would be the other screenshot. Just eBay basically harassing me for personal information that, they claim that if the Shop Safe Act comes into play, then you'd have to submit even more personal information to online marketplaces. It's like even more than what? I'm already supplying everything that you're implying that I would have to if the Shop Safe Act became a thing. And obviously this is just my opinion. I can't prove anything, but my theory is that eBay opposes the Shop Safe Act because they make a lot of money on counterfeit stuff. Because there's so much counterfeit stuff just in like the electronics section. I mean, just trash, total trash, counterfeit parts and products that eBay allows people to sell on their site. And the whole point of this Shop Safe Act is basically to make online shopping safer. So it makes an electronic commerce platform liable for the infringement of a registered trademark by a third-party seller of goods that implicate health and safety unless the platform takes certain actions. And then the following paragraph says specifically the platform may be contributory, sorry, uh, liable if the seller uses a counterfeit mark in connection with selling, offering, or advertising such goods on the platform. The platform may avoid such liability by taking certain actions before the infringing act, including 1. Requiring the seller to have a registered agent or verified address for service of process in the United States. 2. Verifying the seller's identity and contact information. 3. Requiring the seller to agree to not use counterfeit marks with goods sold on the platform. 4. Implementing procedures for trademark owners to request the removal of listings for counterfeit goods. And 5. Implementing policies that remove and ban repeat offenders. So that's kind of, I don't know, that's kind of tricky. I think if the Shop Safe Act were to become a thing, it's basically going to become the same issue that YouTube has with false DMCA takedown claims. And what would make this bad is I can't sue eBay, and eBay has made it so you have to take them to arbitration, which is not feasible for most people. You're going to lose money, tens of thousands of dollars. So there's no accountability. I mean, there's already no accountability because eBay does a terrible job of managing counterfeits on their site. But then on top of that, if eBay was forced to manage counterfeits on their site, yes, there is going to be these, burdensome requirements that they list here. But what's also going to happen is eBay's just going to start screwing everyone over. Which, I mean, they already do that. So I guess you could say it's nothing new, but it just become another tool for eBay to screw sellers over because there'll be no accountability. But at the same time, like the site's full of just trash, counterfeit trash. And there's people that constantly get stuck with this stuff. And I wrote a post on the eBay forums a while back about some of this counterfeit trash, and this was specifically to laptop batteries. And so this is a picture of a known genuine battery. This was a battery that I had in my possession that came from a legitimate source. It was, enterprise environment that leases their equipment, and then once the time frame is up, they get rid of the equipment. I think we'll see if Windows will play nice. I can split screen this maybe. Oh, come on. There we go. And then we'll put this one on the other side. So the battery on the right is a fake. And there's multiple ways to tell. A lot of it comes down to font though. So the font is wrong. The orientation of the letter E on the one on the right that's a fake, that one, the E is at the wrong angle. On top of that, you can tell on the 97 watt hour, the H is different font because the line comes out more of the middle of the H than it does slightly lower, and the radius is a bit wider. And I go back to the post. So let's see, the middle peak does it go? The W also is different. So the peak in between the two vertical lines on the W only goes up halfway instead of all the way. And this, I don't know if it shows up very well on the photos. It doesn't look very obvious on my screen, but on the notes I made on that post, the word standard is more of a bold font than on the fake. A lot of it comes down to font issues. And I don't get why. Oh, the rubber foot. I don't have the pictures to show that, but I don't know why. It's like I don't get why China, if they're going to blatantly rip these products off and put like the Dell branding stuff on it, why not just do it right? Is this really that much different than if, it's, I don't know, having the E at the wrong angle? Does that still like, is that not a counterfeit now? Is that not a misuse of trademark? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it's a huge problem. And what was eBay employee response? Um, so yeah, basically they told me just to report the listing as counterfeit. And then if I buy a counterfeit item, return it and use the not authentic reason. But it's like, why do I have to regulate your site? This is your site. You should be taking charge of the counterfeits on your site. It shouldn't be the burden of the consumer, because especially when the consumer may not know better. Like, I have a friend of mine who has a computer repair store, and he's bought parts on eBay to refurbish laptops, and he's gotten stuck with counterfeits. And I had to explain to him several times what was going on and how to avoid it because it's a really tricky issue. Um, so I don't have a good picture of a battery, the full battery for this example, but like the easiest way to tell with these counterfeits that I've found, unless something's changed recently, is if you buy more than one of them and they all have the same serial number, then it's a fake. Um, let's see. Trying to think of a good example here. So, see if I can get high resolution photo. I don't think this photo is going to be good. Yeah, there's too much glare. I have to find a good example here. Orientation is not what I want, but it'll work. So on a lot of Dell computer parts and other computer parts too, they usually have a serial number tag on them. All the parts are serialized. And I forget which part of the part number on this particular label is the serial number, but so this 928G4 is the part number. This A00 is the revision number. And I think the numbers between the part number and the revision number are basically the serial number. I believe maybe this group of numbers is like the batch number. It's not something I think about a lot, so I can't really do it off the top of my head. But I can recognize obviously the part number and the revision number because that's pretty obvious. But what you'll see is whichever part is the serial number, that's basically the labels will all be the same. And there should be a group of numbers that's different. I believe it's the group of numbers before the revision number, but I'd have to look at a couple of them to remember for certain. Another thing that you'll find is the type of barcode will be wrong. I don't know what this type of barcode is referred to technically. I think it's a 3D barcode. Um, but then sometimes you'll see the counterfeits. They'll have a, let's just pull up. It's, oh, okay. So apparently I was mistaken. That's a 2D barcode. Um, so a 1D barcode is just your standard vertical bars in a row. And then a 2D barcode is your barcode that has all the different symbols and shapes and whatever. So a lot of times with these fakes, especially in the newer adapters, it's supposed to have a 2D barcode, but instead it'll have a 1D barcode. And that's just kind of a dead giveaway because there was a point basically where Dell switched to the 2D barcodes. And I'm assuming it's because of data limitations. I believe that the, the 2D barcodes can hold more data in a smaller amount of space than a 1D barcode would. So yeah, the counterfeit problem on eBay is not great. And since eBay chose to fight this, they have no obligation to do anything about it unless enough people complain. And I just think it's pretty bad that, from as far as my opinion goes at least, that eBay would intentionally mislead sellers in Congress to get out of something that is good for the people. But, it's really not too far out of line because that's how all these big corporations are. It's not about providing a good product and being an honest company. It's about how can you screw people over and do everything you can to get ahead. And that seems to be a cultural issue because, I mean, stalking scandal. I mean, you can just look into the eBay stalking scandal, which is still under investigation. I think most of the people now are charged at this point criminally, but I believe there will be civil litigation where the victim of eBay stalking and harassment will basically be suing for financial compensation for all the pain and suffering that they were put through. But I mean, it's just, I don't know, the whole thing's insane. It's crazy that eBay used to be a good platform and now they've become a platform of how can we screw everyone over, and if we don't like you, what can we do to ruin your life? So yeah, I don't know. I will put some links to sources, and the articles and stuff in the video, but overall, I think it's pretty pathetic what eBay's become, and I think it's pathetic that they would seemingly intentionally mislead their users and in a way that hurts the users. Because all these counterfeits on eBay, like, I can't say for certain, which ones of these adapters are counterfeits, but all these counterfeits on eBay are competing against people that are selling genuine products. And probably not gonna be able to find any good examples here on the spot, but yeah, it's ridiculous. It'd probably be easier if I was searching for a part number, but I don't know the part number of the adapter I want off the top of my head. So either way, ramble aside, hopefully that's of interest. There needs to be a point where people start holding eBay accountable. But that probably won't happen anytime soon, so only thing you can do in the meantime is try to use eBay less, whether you're a seller or a buyer. There's better options out there, and honestly, if you're buying directly from a business, there's a good chance that you're going to get better service and treatment than you are if you buy from a company like eBay. And if you pay with credit card, you're going to have the exact same protections that you would have had if you bought on eBay. It just might be slightly more difficult to get them. But either way, thanks for watching.